What's going on, everybody? It's Nick Payne with the Face Mask Podcast. Doing a little mid-June best ball here. This is kicking off shortly. What pick do I have? It's at the end, I guess. The 11th. I always end up at the end of these drafts. I feel like, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5 times I have the 9th pick or later. But that's okay. I'm accustomed to this at this point. This is a standard $5 entry. This is not Best Ball Mania, so not super high stakes, but you can tinker with some strategy here. This is an opportunity to mess around with what you might want to do with minimal risk. So I have the 11th pick. Davante Adams, number 1 overall. You see some crazy shit sometimes in best balls, but the theory there probably is that Adams is a safe play. But if you're going to do that, why not just take Tyreek Hill? Method to the madness, I don't know. All right, now the ship is righting a little bit. I was going to say, my pick is optimal for taking the wide receiver 1 off the board, which would be Tyreek. Nick Chubb is in play for me at 111 if he lasts that long. It's going to push some, going Adams 1.1 is going to push somebody down. Saquon falling to 7, that's a steal. Yeah, it's going to come down to probably either Chubb or one of the Chiefs. I'm not like as locked in on Travis Kelce as a first round pick as I was maybe earlier in the offseason, but still a very safe play. Cam Akers, okay. Not a guy I was looking at here. All right, the run on running backs has started. If Chubb is there, and he is, this is a tough call between Chubb and Kelce. Let's go against the grain. Screw it. Let's go against the grain. Kelce's fallen at this point. I'm just going to take him. There will be a running back here that I can take as well. There goes Chubb. That's fine. But I'll take Aaron Jones. Sure. Najee Harris is interesting. I have a lot of Jones shares. I could go 0 RB. Do I get wild and crazy in this draft? Nah, I can't do it. But I will go against the grain a little bit. I'll take Najee Harris here. I would normally take Aaron Jones, maybe a Joe Mixon, but let's go with a guy who's as locked in for a big workload as a rookie coming out, and see what happens. The Steelers usually produce a single, running back 1 out of their backfield when that player is healthy and has any type of talent whatsoever. Will that change a little bit this year? Their offensive line doesn't quite have the pedigree of years past. Marquise Pouncey retired. The line might not be great, but they drafted Harris in the first round. The Steelers did. So let's get wild and crazy. I'm doing a little, it's not so wild. I did not dip into 0 RB, although that strategy was close, was close to happening for me. I decided not to do it. I'm not one of the, I don't dip into zero RB. I never really have. I guess I could tinker with it. I could experiment with it, but I know in the back of my head, every single time I think about it, I have it in the back of my head, like there's all these great wide receivers in, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, all the way down to the 10th or 11th round. There's a viable wide receiver in, seemingly at every spot. So it's hard, just knowing that it's hard for me to embrace the zero RB strategy. Apologies. I don't want to go in. Obviously, this is not a league. This is just a best ball, but I don't want to put myself in a scenario where, my running back one is what? Damian Harris. I'd rather have some more balance. I'd rather take a running back early. I'll play those odds. And Kelce in the first round. I'm not going to touch tight end until the very end. Man, AJ Brown 211. That's a dip. I don't know if that's strictly because of the Julio trade or if trends are changing as we inch closer to the NFL season, but that's a hell of a value. What the hell is this guy doing? All right, Pats fan. Your first three picks were Davante Adams, Tom Brady, and Hollywood Brown. The rest of us appreciate your donation. Okay. Sometimes you see this sometimes where people do crazy stuff. It's like, okay. Good for you, guy or girl. Pats fan. Could be anybody. Whoever they are. Don't think I'd take advice from that person. But by nature, of course, these ridiculous picks that one drafter is making is going to push some of these guys down. Makes for an interesting decision right before the turn. Guy after me went running back, so he's going to want a wide receiver, presumably. Could be a good opportunity to pounce here if somebody lasts. Carson. I'd also be okay with Dobbins if he fell this far. I would take that. Anti-zero RB. Sorry. Can't get on board. Okay. That guy's just going hyper robust RB. Okay. That's fine. Amari's here. I could also stack Kelce with Mahomes, but I know the person who just took Sanders has Hill, so it's unlikely that this guy at the turn takes him. I'm gonna go with what I know is a good offense. The Bears should be good. Allen Robinson is a stud, but the Cowboys, if Dak is healthy, have a top 5 offense. So I'll take a wide receiver there. Okay, this kind of works out. I already took Cooper, so while I could take CeeDee Lamb, there's no guarantee I get that full Dallas stack, and I can create a stack right here with Mahomes to Kelce. So this is happening to me a couple of times. I guess that's what happens when you have a pick near the end of the first round and you end up with Hill or Kelce. But let's lock in Mahomes. So my quarterback and tight end depth are going to be incredibly thin because I spent high resources at the position, and it's a stack. So don't mind creating that stack right now. Again, I'll get wide receivers. I'll get more wide receivers, and it's kind of pseudo. It's not zero RB because I ended up with Najee Harris with high second round pick, but I only have 1 through 4. That's it's hardly it's hardly robust. It's hardly a robust strategy. It's hardly a zero RB strategy. I'm kind of just like in the middle. I have 1 of each. That's definitely something I don't always have. 1 of each position through the first 4 rounds. Couldn't tell you the last time I had that set up. So I don't know. I guess I'm getting a little wild and crazy. Look out. This turn is coming up. I'm curious to see what Pats fan does here. I wonder who he takes. He or she. Seems to be approaching a zero RB approach with this ridiculous strategy. I feel like I smell like a quarterback tight end coming up. Like this, maybe Kyle Pitts. I don't know. Okay. Well, now he doesn't have that option. I'm curious to see. I just want to know what Pats. I care about my team and I care about Pats fans' team. That's all I care about. I want to know what Pats fan is doing. I have to bookmark this draft and come back and see how Pats fan does at the end of the season to see if there's any proof that fucking around in a best ball can still work out for you. It totally could. There's 18 picks. Anything can happen. But some questionable decisions to start at best. Let's see what happens here. I feel like it's like a spectator sport watching some of these people draft. Mike Davis in the 4th round. Not for me, but not so outrageous. But that's not a move for me. I just realized Josh Jacobs went 4'11". That's outrageous value. Okay, so I kind of was thinking, I thought quarterback tight end. He decided to stack Brady and Gronk with 2 of his first 5 picks. Smart. So the thing that's kind of biting me right now is we're through the 5th round and quarterbacks aren't really going. Okay, there goes Allen. I need some of these guys to fall to me. There's my guy. He dropped a pass in practice today. Buy the dip. T. Higgins, I could be talked into. Kenny Golladay is less enticing for me, but he's an option. I don't have too many shares of Gaskin. I may let him pass if he's available. And I probably will. I'll go either Deontay or Thielen between the 2 of those who are available. I don't have too many Thielen shares, but at this point, decent value. I know touchdown regression, and is he going to catch 14 touchdowns again? Probably not, but he's a route runner, he's a veteran, and he's gone. That's fine. This guy already has 2 wide receivers right ahead of me. Maybe he takes a quarterback here. I just want Deontay, and I got him. All right. Okay, that works out for me. I take Deontay. Thank you very much. Definitely happy with that. I don't love Gaskin, like I said, but yeah, I'll go here. I'll take him here. I'll take him in the 6th round now that his value is or now that he's fallen a little bit. Could he stumble? Of course, but Like Underdog says, he's got the lead role locked in post draft. There's talent. There's pieces in the backfield behind him. Salvin Ahmed. They signed Malcolm Brown. There's a couple options. Jared Dokes is the hot name as the undrafted free agent who could do something in camp, similar to what Gaskin did into the 2020 season last year when he was totally off fantasy radars. But 6th round pick, sure, fine. Kyler Murray in the 6th round is a steal. That's a steal. And Logan Too Real. Did he create a stack with that too? Oops. Underdog reset. No, just a great value. It's a great value. So I need to attack receiver. That is, for me, that's priority 1. I have my QB 1. I have my tight end 1. They're stacked. I have a couple of running backs. Fine. I'll get a couple more like later. I need to get receivers. So in the next 15 picks or so, Maybe this is flawed logic, but since I already have Deontay and I already have Amari Cooper, I don't know if I want other receivers from the same offense, especially without a stack. Curtis Samuel, okay, that's a name I could be talked into. Yeah, if he's there, I'd be happy to take him. Possible like a guy like Deebo Samuel's there. I'm not holding my breath for Jerry Jeudy to make it to the end of the 7th round. I think people have bought into Jeudy. But also Pat's fan is about to come up, so who the hell knows who's about to be left on the board here. I'm on the edge of my seat. Okay. All right. I don't hate the Claypool pick. I like the Claypool pick. I'm a big fan of Claypool. I can't decide. I still love. Oh, wow, he made some normal picks. How about that? What I was going to say is I still think Deontay is. I think there is still he's not head and shoulders, but he's above Claypool as far as the 2 Steelers receivers that I like. But I definitely prefer Claypool to Juju. I think Claypool had a bit of a fluky season. He caught fire probably between weeks 3 and say weeks 10, somewhere around there. He was excellent. Fell off a little bit as the season wore on toward the end, but he caught 2 touchdowns in the Steelers' playoff loss to the Browns. Now, some of that was garbage time, but the stats still count. Cortland Sutton, 7th round. That's excellent value. Jeudy might last to 7-11 for me. I don't really like these running backs at cost. Okay, that's fine. One of them goes. I'd be just fine if Trey Sermon also went. And there he goes. I get my wish. Oh, man. Leave Devontae Smith for me. I'm not counting on it, but I would absolutely love to add Devontae Smith. But I'm not counting on him being available here. And all it takes is one of these 2 to auto. And he's likely to be the auto pick. Well, there goes Jeudy, so he's there. So I'll get either Devontae or Deebo Samuel. That's one of those. One of those 2 will be my pick. And if both are available, I'm going Smith. I'll wait and see what happens here before I continue. Wow. Okay. This decision. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that guy's doing Cowboys stack. This is an easy call for me. I do like Debo. I love the talent, but Devontae Smith is stepping into a situation where he's the clear top dog, reunited with his college quarterback. Just out of necessity, should see a huge target share per game. I love that I'm able to get him down this far. That's awesome. I would happily take Curtis Samuel on the turn here, but I would go Debo over him if Debo is still available. Debo or Curtis Samuel are my options here. If both are gone, I think I suck it up and take Damian Harris. But this turn, he would need to take both. Oh, Jarvis Landry. Okay, fine. Jarvis Landry is steady. He is consistent. He's also kind of boring for best ball. And there goes Harris. Okay, yeah, I'm going to take Debo here. He's fallen. This is about as good a value as you're going to get at wide receiver as far as a guy who should have a starting role for his team. Can he stay healthy? That's the big question. He's never been able to put together a full season. But I love his talent. And the 49ers are committed to him. It's going to be Debo and Brandon Ayuk on the outside. They'll get tricky with it out in San Francisco. Hopefully they can actually produce a good offense. It's now somewhat documented that Kyle Shanahan hasn't had any top 20 offenses for a little while, but sometimes I just like to bank on the talent. And while Debo is certainly a question mark, can't deny the talent. Okay, so this worked out pretty well. I didn't, first two picks, I ended up taking Kelsey. He fell a little bit. That's fine. And I got 4 receivers, all a little bit of a value. Devontae Smith might be my best value there. As much as I think it's crazy that Deontay Johnson can fall as far as the middle to the end of the 5th round, but Devontae is the unquestioned wide receiver 1 in Philly, so I'll take those. Gaskin, I'm not crazy about Gaskin, but if a player falls and I need a player at that position, then sure. And Najee's a swing for the fences. If I strike out, so be it. Samuel falls to 8-10. Those are 2 good spots for Curtis Samuel and Brandon Cooks, respectively. Cooks might have a tough time this year, but all he does is put up 1,000-yard seasons. Could it break this year without Deshaun Watson? Yeah, but he's still their clear wide receiver 1. Somebody's got to do something down there. Pats fan securing the coveted tight end 2 after taking Gronk in the 5th. I won't hold my breath for Zach Moss. But if he's there, sure. No problem with that. I don't like this part of the draft. Ooh, well, Darnell Mooney, sure. No problem. Russell Gage, yeah, okay. Saw a stat today that he was one of the league leaders in red zone targets in 2020. So, some of those are going to go to Kyle Pitts. But with Julio gone, there's more. That's more vacated red zone targets, not just targets in general, but red zone targets. So Gage remains interesting. I won't hold my breath here for Zach Moss. So I could go Gus Edwards. He's kind of uninspiring, but will be involved. Trey Lance in the 9th round is kind of high, but you do you. I mean, he should be good. He might not start the season, but it doesn't kill you in best ball. There goes Moss. I wasn't holding my breath. I go back to the well at wide receiver. I may just secure Mooney here. What does Gold-to-Go have? He has Lamar. Just looking at stacks and what he potentially wants. Yeah, let's lock in Mooney. His stock is going up. And he's getting a quarterback upgrade. There's Tannehill. I'm passing on these quarterbacks and Logan Thomas. Yeah, I'll take Gus Edwards. To secure a running back. This is, 100+ picks into the draft at this point. A guy who will be involved in one of, if not the best rushing attacks in the NFL. I'm okay with it. So Mahomes and the Kelce stack, running backs, Najee Harris, Myles Gaskin, Gus Edwards. Uninspiring, but could be enough to come through. Wide receivers, Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, Devontae Smith, Deebo Samuel, Darnell Mooney. I like this depth. You could call the Mooney pick a bit of a reach, maybe. Did I go up an extra round to get him? Maybe. He might not last this long anymore. I'm okay. I'm just fine with the pick. Now I got to figure out what I'm doing 15 picks from now. Latavius Murray is interesting. Elijah Moore is buzzing every single day out of Jets camp, so he's interesting. Jamison Crowder's not a lock to be a Jet this year. Oh, Gabe Davis. I love him down here. Yeah, there's some options. If Kenyon Drake continues to fall, no problem scooping him up for running back depth. Same with Henderson. Same with Latavius Murray. So I think I'm going to end up probably with, hopefully, my ideal scenario is a combination of one of these depth running backs and one of these depth wide receivers, primarily targeting either Elijah Moore or Gabriel Davis. We're over halfway done. So if you've stuck it out this far, thank you. Hopefully, whatever insight I've provided thus far has been helpful. I would say after I grab this fourth running back, whether it's at this next collection of picks coming up or if I continue to wait, I might get one or two more. I definitely want more wide receivers. We'll get one more tight end for depth, depending on who that is, and depending on some of the quarterbacks, maybe some of the cheaper options later. I'll obviously one. I don't know if I'll get two. Two more. I question if I want two more since I spent such a high pick on Mahomes, but fun to create a stack. Just like looking at some of these teams real quick. What are some of their projections? My projection is much lower than some of these, but you can't worry too much about that. I'm coming up here. Okay. Well, I mean, one of these running backs is going to get to me, and I'll take them first because the guy after me has the same number of backs, so he probably wants one of these. So I'll take my pick of the litter here. Kenyon Drake has fallen this pretty far. I would be fine with that. If he's not available, don't have a problem with Darrell Henderson. Well, he's gone. So yeah, I'll take Kenyon Drake here. Not going to think too much into this. The Raiders signed him for a reason. He's going to get work. And if he gets a similar workload, or maybe a little less, a fraction less of what he got last year at this cost, will be a strong value. Even if Latavius is here and he's not, I'm going to pass on some of these options. Elijah Moore or Gabe Davis. Davis is playing clearly with the better quarterback, but Elijah Moore has been buzzing about making plays. Let's go with the upside. I don't have any other Jets. Nope. I'll go with the upside. I pass on Gabe Davis, but guess what? I have a lot more shares of Davis than I do of Elijah Moore, so looking to diversify a little bit. Couple quarterbacks left. Ideally, I'll be able to grab one of these guys later. But it's going to have to be probably in this next grouping of picks that I have. I can certainly wait on some depth at tight end. But even with Mahomes, I still want a viable quarterback 2 option. There goes Davis. That's awesome value for Davis, in my opinion. Someone's also going to get a good value with Latavius Murray. Could be Pat's fan. Oh, nope. Zev's going RB heavy. I think he has 5. I keep saying he or she. Could be anybody in this draft. We may have a couple auto drafters in here. I think Pat's fan. I think we lost Pat's fan. Yup. They're auto drafting. That's fine. So 8 picks away. Might go with that 7th wide receiver. Well, Madison's a good value at this point. Jonnu Smith is a solid value at this point. I have 4 running backs. I'm not dying to add a 5th one here. This is around the time where I'd rather get some quarterback depth. I don't have any Browns, so no stack with Baker Mayfield. I don't have any Colts, so no stack with Carson Wentz. And I don't have any Giants, so no stack with Daniel Jones. That's fine. Still want to go ahead and secure one. Just want to look at some of these tight end options. Yeah, there's pieces later. I like Jonnu Smith a lot this year, but when I have a guy like Kelsey, I'm not relying on him. So kind of just hoping he goes here so I don't have to make that decision. Although the person after me at the turn has no tight end, so could conceivably take Jonnu Smith here anyway. No, that's fine. John Brown. I think I'd rather have a wide receiver here. Actually, the tight ends are coming up quicker than I thought. Okay, fine. I'm going to go Jonnu. Ideally, that's the last tight end that I take. And now I get my quarterback. Between Baker, Wentz, and Daniel Jones, Mahomes' bye week is week 12. I'm going to go Jones. He's got a little bit more rushing upside than the other two. And if they can ever figure out a way to stay healthy, they added Kenny Golladay. Saquon comes back. The offensive line, I've hammered this point home numerous times. Jones is in position to put up numbers. And he'll run. Don't think I'm going to end up with a third quarterback. With Kelsey, there could be some good tight end values left on the board, but it just doesn't make logistical sense to take Kelsey with a first round pick and then take 2 more tight ends. I want to bank on Kelsey, being able to get me through the season, and then Jonnu Smith is the alternative, depending on if something happens or if Kelsey has a down week. So from here on out, it makes sense for me to invest first in wide receiver and second in running back. So maybe get one more running back. I have the wiggle room to add a third, either tight end or quarterback. I think if I had to choose, it would be quarterback. Just because on a week-to-week basis, they have a higher chance of putting up 20-plus points. Some young options down here. Wide receiver, Dyami Brown is interesting. Kadarius Toney is interesting, especially since I just took Daniel Jones. Jacoby Myers is interesting. I already have Jonnu. Might not be the most impressive or the most exciting passing attack up in New England, but Myers is as cheap a team's wide receiver one as they come. So, or one of the Lions receivers, depending on who you think will be the wide receiver one in Detroit. Those are the cheapest as far as who I think should be a team's wide receiver one goes. I still like Jakobi Meyers over the signings of Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne. I think Meyers has a chance to out-target and outproduce both of them, despite the free agency commitments that the Patriots made to both. Little mini run on wide receivers there. Man, a lot of good tight end options still available. It's going to pain me if I have to pass on guys like Jarwin or Everett. Or even Kmet. But I think I got to. I don't think I have a choice. I think I have to. Might grab Tony here. Just because of the stack potential. Have I mentioned I like stacks? I like stacks. There goes Kmet. If this guy takes Everett, he'll make me feel even better about. There goes Crowder. Well, the guy at the turn could take Everett, and I'll leave him for him. Yeah, I'm going to go Kadarius Toney. Simply put, if he's able to break in and have a role, I have Daniel Jones. Roethlisberger's down here. I have Deontay Johnson. I'm not crazy about Roethlisberger, but I was interested in adding that third quarterback. So I will go ahead and just do that. Feels safer to be able to get, I don't know, it feels safe to get a QB3. Only a couple more picks left. What I'm probably going to do at this point is auto, a running back and a wide receiver, or just looking at some depth options. Jakobi Meyers is obviously going to be one of my priorities if he makes it that far. If he doesn't, Marlon Mack is an interesting name for me. Byron Pringle I can stack with Mahomes or Demarcus Robinson, but his ADP is much higher. Zacchaeus for the Falcons, his stock is coming up a little bit, so probably not. So I'm looking at this range of like Marlon Mack to get an RB5 who has a chance to have a real role for his team. And then maybe like a Byron Pringle. Nico Collins is he's projecting well for Houston's offense simply because they have nobody else. So I'll fill it out with one of these depth running backs and depth wide receivers. And we'll go ahead and call it a day. So I think I can stop the recording here. I think I just shared what I'm looking at to do to finish this up. So thank you for listening. Hope this was helpful. Hope this was insightful. I will, of course, continue to do best balls to provide my analysis and insight here as they continue to happen. But until then, thanks for listening. Let me know what you think of how this went.